Good day, YouTubers. Thanks for joining me. This is video 32 in my series of Ontario Northland models in HO scale, and today we're taking a look at Bowser Trains. Now, Bowser released a large run of Ontario Northland SD40-2's starting between about 2016 and delivery through to about 2019. And they came delivered in these Bowser green executive line boxes that I think we've all become used to seeing here, with the end of the box providing the locomotive specific details. Now, moving on to their first release here. So the first release included 3 road numbers in the original green paint scheme and 3 road numbers in the later yellow chevron paint scheme. So taking a look at that original paint scheme here first. So Bowser's done just a great job here with road specific and unit specific details. So all of the detailed paintwork that you see there is completely prototypical and accurate, even including the paintwork on the plow. That was often too dirty to be seen or appreciated, but that's exactly how these locomotives were delivered. They've got the snow shield slash air intake cover there, which looks great. They've got these additional cab window assemblies. Now, these locomotives were not originally delivered with those, but they do appear to have been somewhat promptly applied by the railway. So you can see lots of pictures of these units with and without those additional cab window assemblies. They've got shades above the window on the other side of the locomotive. And yeah, just great looking paint, great level of detail on these, separately applied and painted grab irons. And they've perfectly captured how Ontario Northland's SD40s were equipped in regards to the classification lights, location of headlight, and other such details. Now, Ontario Northland, they took delivery of 8 SD40-2's total. The first 5 were delivered in that original green classic green paint scheme. So units 1730 through to 1734. And Bowser has manufactured units 1731, 33, and 34. Now, the chevron paint scheme here, Bowser's done a great job again with unit specific details. So these locomotives, when repainted, were equipped with ditch lights. So that's one of the only real changes that we see from when comparing this to the locomotives in the original green paint scheme. The plow on this unit has been painted that brilliant yellow with blue stripe. We still have the additional cab side window installation. We've got the snow shields. I wish to point out here, before we go into the other locomotives, that we've got on this unit a unit number on the side of the cab as well as a yellow trillium. Now, when we look at units 1736 and 1737, again, pretty much identical in an appearance, but we don't have that road number on the side of the cab. The trillium is white and not yellow, and this plate here on the side of the step has been painted yellow to match the side of the car body, unlike how 1732 was painted. And that is completely accurate as compared to the prototype. So Bowser's done a great job in that regards. Taking a look at the next locomotives released. So the following year, these ON Rail locomotives were released. They released them road numbers 1730 and 1734, as can be seen here. So very similar to the previous locomotives in regards to level of detail and everything being accurate. Now, 1730, when rebuilt, it retained its snow shields, while 1734 here did not have them reinstalled, but Bowser did include these in the box as a detail part, and I applied those without realizing. So perhaps I need to spend a little more attention to how my locomotives appeared prototypically before I get carried away installing detailed parts in the future. But again, a beautiful locomotive, beautiful paint scheme. Moving on to the final locomotive that I want to look at here, Unit 1733 in this one-off Ontario Northland paint scheme. And this was a special run here for the North Bay Museum. And this is somewhat perfectly capturing how the Ontario Northland repainted Unit 1733 into this attractive and somewhat unique paint scheme. And I think some more of their locomotives have started to appear in a similar paint scheme over the last couple months. But 1733 seems to have been the first. So again, when this unit was repainted or rebuilt, it was done so without the snow shield. So that is accurate in that regards. And I didn't point this out on the ON rail units that we just looked at, but this unit, just like those, they did not have those additional cab window assemblies reinstalled. So putting this unit on the tracks here now so that we can observe how well they run. These locomotives just don't look great, they run great as well. So starting here with the fire up sequence. So a nice long, great sounding startup sequence there. And you can see that I've got the ditch lights and the headlights on. And the number boards are also lit. So despite not having a lot of break-in time, a wonderful slow speed performer. Very smooth. Very gradual starting and stopping characteristics. So overall, I'm very impressed with the quality of these locomotives. Now I'm going to turn off my light here so that we can take an additional look at the lighting effects on this locomotive. So one of the first items I want to point out are the number boards. How Bowser's done a great job in dulling out the brightness of those number boards on so many locomotives. It just seems ridiculously bright to have number boards brighter than your headlights, for example. But yeah, these look great. But the real impressive item are the classification lights above those number boards. So pressing 5 here on my DCC controller. So pressing 5 once, it goes to white. Press 5 again, it goes to green. And press 5 a final time and it goes to red. So just 5 again and it goes off. But just beautifully done. I'm going to turn this locomotive around so you can see the lighting characteristics on the back of the locomotive. So putting this locomotive into reverse and turning the headlight on. So you've got the single light there when it's in reverse. but when you turn on your ditch lights, it's turning on the single red rear classification light that is below that headlight. So some very impressive lighting characteristics on these locomotives. I'm going to turn the light back on here. Final thing I want to mention is that Bowser's done a great job here in accurately reflecting road numbers in all of these different paint schemes. So like I talked about before, in the original green, units 1730 through to 1734 were delivered this way. I am hopeful that in a subsequent run, Bowser's going to deliver to us a 1730 and a 1732 so that we can round out that fleet. And as an interesting note, the Ontario Northland Railway just repainted their unit 1730 into that original as delivered paint scheme as a heritage unit, which has become a trendy item to do. In the chevron paint scheme, all these locomotives were repainted into that paint scheme at one point of their lives here. We haven't seen a unit 1735 yet, so I'm hopeful that we'll see one of those and maybe another road number selected for the chevron paint scheme. And then finally, in that ON rail paint scheme, they've produced 1730 and 1734 to date. Also repainted in that paint scheme was unit 1733 and unit 1735. So we could potentially see two other road numbers for that line as well. So yeah, Bowser's done a great job on these locomotives. I can't speak more highly about them. If you are an Ontario Northland modeler, I would suggest that these are an absolute must-have. So thanks for joining me for yet another video, and I'll look forward to having another one up very soon. Thank you.